Hi, everybody. Welcome to the webinar today. We're excited you're here. We're going to get started in about 3 or 4 minutes. So hang with us. Hi, everybody. Welcome. We're going to get started here in about 2 minutes. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. We're going to start in about 1 minute. All right, everybody. Thank you for jumping on today. We're excited you're here. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us. My name is McKay Allen. I'm the CEO at Patch. We have Tim Owens from CourtReserve, who's in the background as well. And we're so pumped to be with you today to talk specifically about how 4 clubs are using this Patch CourtReserve integration to drive more revenue. So we are going to really dive into use cases. We're going to share examples of emails and text campaigns they're using. It's going to be awesome. So we're excited to do this with you today. 2 quick housekeeping items before we get started. First and foremost, we want you to know this webinar is being recorded, so you can share it with people at your club, at your business, colleagues, whatever. And then the second thing is we do want this to be interactive. So if you go to the little question area or the chat area, leave us a message there, and we'll address those as we go, and then we'll pause at the end as well. The other item is we don't want this to be an hour and a half webinar. I've been on a lot of those, and they can be lengthy. So we're going to try to keep this relatively short and be out of here in 35 to 45 minutes. So with that, thank you for being here again, and we're excited for it. I think there's about 100 clubs that are registered for this event, so we're excited to talk to you all today. All right, first thing is about Patch. What do we do? Essentially, we're a platform that allows you to turn your one-time players into long-time members, to keep those members, to upgrade members. And clubs use us for texting, email, and customer retention. You'll see that more in depth in a moment, but that's kind of the background, right? Texting, email, and customer retention automations. How does the CourtReserve and patch integration work? Well, basically, it automatically syncs your CourtReserve data to patch. So everything from contact fields to order finished events. So check-in status, did they show up? Are they a member? Are they on a trial period? Even your pickleball ratings. And then what's next, we'll talk about this at the end a little bit as well, but just advanced check-in data, more specific detail about what exactly they're attending, what they're checking in for, which I think is really important. We'll cover a lot of these automations. So how are people using the integration? So they're sending out text and emails when a membership expiration's coming up, or if they visited for the first time, a campaign that is sent to them to try to get them to come back and or become a member. Birthday campaigns are really popular. We'll talk about all of these in detail. And then some common questions we get. So I just want to hit these right off the top. Do my players interact with Patch at all? No. So your players do not know we exist. There's not an app they download. There's nothing like that. We're not interested in scheduling courts for your players. You would simply use Patch as the tool through which you email and text your players. How long does it take to get going? Usually we'll do some demo calls with you, make sure it's a great fit. After you sign up, if you want to be a customer, there's usually a few onboarding calls. My onboarding team won't love that I say this, but it's essentially unlimited for the first 60 days or so. So the goal is to graduate you from that where you know how to use the product really well. And then, of course, we have ongoing customer support. And then, do you need to use Patch for it to work? Yes. So Patch is just a tool. We're not an agency that's going to come in and build all the campaigns for you, but you can just set up these automations one time and let them go. So that's important. All right. As I said, Patch email, texting, reviews, journeys, basic texting, one-to-one texting, blast texting, emails, all of that stuff is within the Patch system. Okay, I want to dive in and talk about these examples. We're going to dive very specifically into some clubs who are using Patch and using the integration with CourtReserve, and talk about how they're using it with specific examples and with data. And we got permission to use these examples, and we're very, very grateful for the clubs that gave us permission to use the examples. First is Dill Dinkers in Colombia. This is a quote from Allie over at Dill Dinkers. So she says, I sent out a text blast about a gift card sale we were running. We sold $8,000 in gift cards in a week. I feel like a Patch nerd. It is so fun. I love that. The automations are very powerful. You guys are seriously awesome. I also love the liberal use of exclamation points in this quote by Allie. It's a great job. All right, so how do they use Patch? First is they use us. They have a kiosk at the front desk for guests to drive check-ins, so they can get additional texting opt-ins, and they know for sure when people show up, and that's really important. They're also using it for one-to-one texting. So you're going to, if you're a Patch customer, we can help you make your phone number a textable number, so you can send and receive phone numbers or text messages rather through that phone number. They look and behave like any normal text message would. They're not like a short code or a long code. But people can text in and ask about hours, leagues, tournaments. You do that, you put it on your website, and you will instantly see an impact. And then you can reply to those. You can see here an ongoing conversation between a player and the location, and how it's just back and forth, very simple. It shows up as a text on their phone. And that's a great way to keep your customers, your players engaged. All right, this is a chart that I wanted to show conversions by marketing channel. So let me kind of orient you to what you're seeing here. What you're seeing is the blue bars are conversions, meaning essentially players that were impacted by a campaign. Those are blue, which indicates email blasts. And then the red little ones that you see at the top are ongoing automations. So this is the impact in real dollars of email campaigns and the ongoing automation. So you're going to notice that whenever an email is sent, you see a typical bell curve, right? Where the effectiveness is really high for the first 2 or 3 days as people are opening that. Then it starts to die out. And for the red bar at the top, you see that just kind of continues every day. There are ongoing automations that every day produces revenue for this Dildinkers location. And that is very standard and typical result that we see is a lot of revenue, a lot of conversions are driven very quickly after an email is sent. And then ongoing, there's ongoing revenue from the automations. All right, I want to talk about the email campaigns because they're doing an awesome job with email blasts. So email campaigns are a very simple way to message multiple customers at once. So this specific location is sending weekly emails to segments of their list, often their entire list, but they're sending at least one email a week. They're sending a few text message blasts. And you can see here that their open rates, which are on the right-hand column there, are excellent, which means their list is really good. It's clean. And the content that they're producing is compelling. People want to read about what they're sending. And they're used to getting content from them. This could take time to develop an open rate at this level. Because if you just start from scratch, people aren't used to seeing something from you. It's going to take time to condition them that you're going to email them every week with what's going on at your club. And you're going to see what the emails look like here in the next couple slides. They're very simple, they're easy to navigate, and they're short. And that is a great, simple solution to engaging with your players. They don't need to be incredibly complex. They can be simple and short and easy to write. I want to talk about some of the campaigns they're running as well. So as I mentioned, you see here the email blasts and text blasts they're sending, but I've also mentioned the automations that they're sending. So I want to highlight a few of those automations. These are the three or four, I think, that were the most commonly used within this location. So the first is after 3 check-ins, so after someone has been there 3 times, they send either a text or an email, not both, to the folks who've checked in 3 times asking them for a Google review. This is a fantastic way that a lot of our clubs use to easily generate more Google reviews. We have clubs that have literally tripled their Google reviews in the first 60 or 90 days using the platform. And in this competitive space with more clubs opening all the time, that's really, really important. So they're getting these in an automated way. They're not asking people to fill it out as they leave. They're not manually sending text to people asking for a Google review after. It's happening automatically 2 hours after their 3rd check-in. So you can see here the purple box, run after 3 check-ins. It delays 2 hours and then sends either the email or the text asking for the review. This is a member last time check-in. So essentially, this campaign, the idea here is you see these 3 filter blocks in orange. So look at the 3 orange blocks. Every single day, Patch is looking through their database and saying, okay, who are members whose last check-in was 30 days ago, 60 days ago, or 90 days ago? And then it's sending an email, waiting 4 days, sending a text. So the goal with this campaign is to try to re-engage people, members specifically, who have not shown up in either 30, 60, or 90 days. And you can see here, like, this looks a little complex, but I think you can also see, like, once the logic's built and you just let this run, the impact that this has on a business. Imagine being able to, every single day, automatically email people at your club or text people at your club, members who have not been 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and remind them to come back, remind them of the benefits they're getting by being a member, and get them back to playing pickleball and bringing guests to do that, by the way. This is another common one. It's a birthday campaign, and this one's so simple. I love it. It is sent to people, anybody in their database, on their birthday. So every single day, it looks through the database and says, whose birthday is it today? And then sends an email. What do they send? They send this awesome email with a cat, with a bow. And this is an incredibly effective campaign. So this has generated about $15,000 in revenue for the business, which is incredibly powerful for something this simple. So again, these emails are, as you can see, like very simple. 3 paragraphs, basically, 1 image. Probably took 8 to 10 minutes to create. That's awesome. It doesn't need to be complicated. It can be very, very simple, and you're going to see an impact. So amazing job by the team at Buildinkers in creating this. This is a similar campaign, but with a different filter. So this is for a birthday in 30 days. So 30 days before someone's birthday, they will send an email, and this again is the email. Offers them the ability to come in. They have a member discount if they want to have a party at the club. Awesome. Another great example of a very simple campaign that is very, very powerful for the business. So you can see here, there's campaigns that are more complex, and then there's very simple campaigns. So let me just pause there before I jump into the next example and see if anybody had questions on the first example. Yeah, there's a couple of thoughts here as we move into the second example. I showed you the first example that had really simple emails and very simple campaigns, along with a few more sophisticated ones. But they're really good at consistently sending email blasts, as well as having campaigns running in the background all the time. And I want to stress, it's not an either-or proposition. You don't need to either have campaigns running or send email or text blasts. You can do both at the same time. All right, second example is a Pickle Rage location in West Bloomfield. Quote from Marion, I love Patch. I'm a big believer. I was amazed once we turned on the automations of what took place in just 7 days. I threw up my papers and was like, I'm just going to go eat lunch for the day. I'm done. I have nothing else I need to do. This was great. Christina, who's the GM of another one of their locations, is a huge fan. She was like, I told you I needed Patch and you wouldn't let me have it at another location. It's been great. We're thrilled. It's living up to what we thought, which I love. That's awesome. So let's dive into how they're using it. So you see another similar view of how the conversions are tracking. So blue is email campaigns. You see upticks when an email goes out, and then you see consistent red, which means the automations are going on every single day, all the time. They're set up once. Email and SMS campaigns are going amazing. This location is sending email campaigns weekly. They're sending some SMS blasts, and the open rates are fantastic for these campaigns, which means, again, the list is good and the content is compelling. And then I added over here the revenue generated by each email. And we always get questions around, well, how do you calculate this? I'm going to be honest with you, it's not perfect. There's no revenue attribution model that is perfect. But basically what we're doing is we're saying, hey, if someone interacted with a text or an email, meaning they open it, they read it, they click on it, and then within 3 days they spend money at your club, we're counting that as part of the revenue. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. But it's a pretty conservative approach to how we're thinking about revenue here. Okay, so their blast. What are some examples of the blast they're sending now? I want to highlight sort of the two styles of emails we've seen, and also highlight there's no right or wrong to how these are built. They are building very complex emails that are long, that have a lot of links and images. So, and they're still getting great open rates. So these probably take longer to build than the ones in the previous example that you saw, but they're also getting great open rates and they're getting great click-through rates. So there's no one size fits all. You do what is best for your business, the time you have, the resources you have. Not every email needs to be perfectly designed, but these also do a great job. Like really, and it shows kind of the design capabilities too that you can have within patch if you want to really design your emails effectively. Okay, let's talk about some of their campaigns. Inactive player re-engagement. So these are campaigns that are sent when a player has not played in 30 days at the top, 60 days, or 90 days. You notice it's a little bit different. These are not just for members. These are for any players who have not been in 30, 60, or 90 days. They send an email, then delay 4 days and send a text. Send an email, delay 4 days, send a text. Send an email, delay 4 days, send a text. This is a very effective campaign. You can see examples of the emails that are sent and the texts that are sent. This is the first texting example we've shown. The reason people will defer to texts often is because A, they're much easier to write. They're much shorter, obviously. That's the nature of texting. But then also, the open rates are much higher. So for example, with email, like if you write a really good email, you can get a 25 to 45% open rate. That's incredibly good. With text, you're going to get a 98% open rate. It's unbelievably effective. So a lot of businesses will defer to texting over email, but most will actually say we want to have both in our campaigns, which is great. A new player welcome. So the trigger for this is a waiver being signed. You can see in the purple box. Then 2 minutes, an email goes out. 7 days, a text goes out. And you can see what the text says here. Now this one is awesome, a non-member conversion campaign. So the idea is to, whenever someone shows up at the club as a guest, they're put in this campaign where they receive text messages and emails until they become a member. Now you notice up here at the top, the contact is updated when they become a member and they are ejected from the campaign. So if someone becomes a member at any point during the campaign, they're removed from the campaign and they don't continue to receive emails or text messages about this campaign. So this is the idea here is if someone is a guest player, they receive this campaign, which consists of, let's see, a text message and 2 emails. And then if they become a member, they're removed from the campaign. Awesome. Example 3. This is Pace Pickleball Club. So I've shown a couple of like awesome franchise groups. And so you might be saying, man, we don't have the resources they have. The next 2 I'm going to show are single location clubs that you can easily replicate what they're doing. So conversions by marketing channel, the automations are in red, and they are producing for them at a high level every single day. So again, they are focused really on the automations instead of the email or SMS blasts. So they're setting up the automations and letting them work, which I love. They're also using one-to-one texting. You can see the conversation here. And you can see the emails are text-based. They're very simple. Contact is created and email is sent. Awesome. Very simple. That's great. A couple of very simple links. A header at the top that they simply uploaded their logo to create. Awesome. Very simple. A welcome email to try to get them to come back, to try to get them to become a member. A recapture campaign. So this is a variation of those folks who have not played in a while. Their variation is 45 days, 90 days, and 120 days, and then they receive an email for each one. Super powerful. I love this one. It's a more complicated one, so I'll walk you through it. It's a follow-up for a specific class. So every Saturday at 12:05, it goes to a specific group of people, ask them if they enjoyed the class via text, and then ask them eventually one day later to leave a Google review. So it's the idea is to get them to leave feedback about the class, possibly the instructor, and to get them to sign up for additional classes, lessons, membership, etc. I love this one. This one's a really unique one and very cool. And the fourth example, I'll keep a little more anonymous. It's a club out west here in Montana. I like this one because they're using SMS blasts a lot. The reason that they're using SMS blasts a lot is because they're easier to write than email blasts. So they're much simpler, they're shorter, they're easier, and it works. So SMS blasts are sent to a segment of the list. You can see here how frequently they're doing it. And this is why people send text messages, this 98% number. An average of 98% of people read text within 3 minutes, which is incredible. And if people reply to those, we get this question a lot. If people reply to text blasts, those replies go back into the one-to-one thread. So if someone replies to a text, because they don't know they're in a text with 1,000 other people, 1,500 people, 6,000 other people, whatever the number is, they can reply to that and start a one-to-one conversation. Very simple campaigns again. Contact is created. This is a new player welcome campaign. An email is sent. 7 days later, a text message is sent. This is one I love because they basically got settings built in here that allows our system to tell them when a customer is at risk and when a player is already lost. And they have built campaigns into their system to target people who are at risk or who are already lost and try to get them to come back. So each of these is a separate email, separate text that those folks receive. And then a new non-member check-in, so they are there for the first time as a guest or just for open play. They receive a text message, 1 day later an email, 7 days after that an email. So they have a very, very simple campaign built to try to get them to come back, to try to get them to engage once they have shown up to play. Okay. So type your questions into the top there. We'd love to take them. You've seen, I think, a few really good examples of email campaigns, text campaigns, and automation journeys that any club can do. A lot of those things are pre-built when you sign up for Patch. And because of the awesome integration we have with CourtReserve, that data flows in. We're able to tell when people checked in. We're able to tell when they have not been in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. We're able to tell if they're a member. And you can build campaigns that focus on each of those aspects, which I think is really powerful. And then the other thing I just wanted to highlight here, and Tim can speak to this as well, is we've been asked a lot for more specific data, kind of like a phase 2 of the integration, right? Like more, not just that they checked in, but what did they check in for, Tim? That's probably the number one or two thing that we've been asked about with the integration. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, thank you. This is awesome. And before I jump into that, I just want to address the audience. You can hear me okay, correct?
We got you.
Okay. First off, I just want to shout out Patch. This integration, we take integration partners very seriously, and it's just been a delight to work with Patch and the team. And not only that, it's just the value that this integration creates for clubs. It's just for those that don't know, me and Ashley also own a pickleball club here in St. Augustine, and we run Patch at our club. And it's all about value. And if I was to say, I wrote down and jotted down just 4 value points, and if it's okay, I'd like to share those, McKay.
Of course.
Yeah. 4 things stood out to me when I sort of look at Patch and the integration with CourtReserve. One is just the insights you get around members. So it's really nice to be able to see at a glance who your champions are, who your loyal customers are, but it's also a great way to create strong member loyalty, because just like we look and we take churn very seriously, and I tell this to the team all the time and to clubs, it's not just about the new members, but it's about retaining your current members.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to identify those quickly that may be at risk to churn, to leave your club and go somewhere else, Patch gives you the insights you need to prevent that. And just the automated growth engine that these customer journeys with Patch let you sit down and create. Yes, as you saw on there, it takes some time to create the journeys, to tweak them, to get them right. But once you do, you can go to lunch, as that one quote said. You can go pay attention to other parts of your business. You can nurture, re-engage, and upsell members automatically, and Patch does that great. And finally, it's just communication. We've saw with our front desk, just the back and forth text. We've saved people from going somewhere else. We've given information about a specific clinic or about a pickleball one-on-one class, and was just able to have a text conversation with those people. And the front desk is like, wow, we are actually able to communicate people very quickly and very effectively. So I just wanted to highlight those value points. And then, as he mentioned, it's all about the future value. What are we doing? Yes, this is an amazing integration, but we are not going to be complacent. As you know, with CourtReserve, we're always innovating, and we always want to make things better, make things more powerful. So what we're going to do in the next coming weeks is we're going to take the check-in event that McKay is talking about, and we're going to add some things to it. One of the things we're going to add is the activity type, so that you will know the difference when somebody comes in and checks in. Were they there for an event? Were they there for a reservation? Were they there for a lesson? Were they there for a league? So then you can build campaigns specifically around that type of event. And not only that, we're going to give you the name of the event. Were they booking singles or doubles? Was they booking a pickleball 101 class compared to more of an advanced clinic? So you can build campaigns and reach outs specifically for the type of event that they're booking or they're registering for. Second, we're going to add activity start times and end times. And this is really good for time-based automations. So an example of this would be like sending a thank you note right after a lesson, like, or good luck tonight right before a league match. Because if we know this specific event they're signing up for, you know the time they're coming, now you can build time-based automations. Thirdly, we're going to give you more information around the check-ins for courts and instructors. And I've really been really excited about instructors because you can do a lot of things. If you know somebody came and took a lesson with an instructor, you could send out a survey to see how valuable that lesson was with that particular pro. Or you could say, here's a 20% promo code for your next session with Sarah or Jim. And finally, we want to really put in some more valuable cost data so that you can sort of distinguish between free and paid attendance, and offer an upsell customers to offer them a discount to free trial attendees or a free beginner class. So those are just some of the things, McKay, that we're adding. And one thing on specifically for the CourtReserve side is promo codes. So we've been hearing it from the rooftop around, hey, it would really make the integration more powerful if we had the ability to set up promo codes in CourtReserve and then utilize and send out those promo codes in these campaigns. So that's a feature that's actually in development right now with a scheduled fall release. So super excited about what we're building, super excited to work with Patch, and I hope you guys see the value in this integration.
Love it. That's awesome. Tim, thanks for that. That was great. And it was a great look forward to. Yeah, it's so fun to work with Tim and Ashley and their team. A, they're awesome people, so they're fun to hang out with. And B, their team just gets stuff done. And there's sometimes you get in, as you guys know, there's a lot of people who say things. There's very few that do things, and they do a great job of getting things done. So that's awesome. So let's do this, Tim. Why don't we run through a few of the questions that are coming in,
Sure.
and hit on those, and then we'll let everybody get back to their lovely Tuesday. Okay, so Dorothy asks, where do we find the conversions by marketing chart that you have been showing? So I want to like show that, and then I'll kind of explain where it is in the system. This chart, conversions by channel. So if you're a Patch customer, you go to dashboards on the left-hand side of your screen if you're a Patch customer, and the second dashboard that you see kind of open up in the hamburger menu is called marketing. So dashboard, marketing, that's where you're going to find it, and it's going to show data for your business. Now, to be super clear, you have to have built something in order for that to show, right? If you haven't sent out a text or an email or built any automations, it's not going to show any data, right? So we've got to make sure that you're sending emails and texts. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see, one more question around one-to-one texting. Yeah, so let me review that again. The idea is this. When you sign up with Patch, we can make your current number a textable line. So basically, businesses can text, or businesses, you're the business, your customers can text you directly and you can text them. And it doesn't show up as like a weird short code or anything like that. It's a normal phone number. And they just receive it like they would a text from their mom or their brother or whatever. And it shows up on their phone so you can text them. So they will text in and ask questions. You can text back. You can also even put a little bug on your website, a little widget on your website that that allows you to receive inbound messages really easily. So it's a really powerful and very simple tool. Um, Tracy asks, let's see. She says, we were talking about guests or waiver signed. Is that a waiver for non-account holders? So it's any waiver that is signed within CourtReserve. And Tim, most clubs will. Would you say it's what percentage of clubs are requiring a waiver when when a player shows up? Tim, what would you say that number is? Any idea?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question and a good question. If I don't have the statistics in front of me, it's interesting because it's much more predominant in the pickleball club market than the tennis market.
Hmm,
But, you know, internally for those using our waiver services, I would say about 70% are requiring a liability waiver of some sort.
cool. And if you're not using Court Reserve, their system for this, their solution for this is really simple and really easy to use. So I would strongly recommend that. Love it. Tracy asked, does Patch catch up on lost customers when you first start? Um, Give me a little more detail on that one, Tracy. I'm trying to. uh, so we can Patch will be able to tell you which customers are already lost if that's what you're asking. So yeah, we can do that. We can tell you which customers are already lost, and you can build campaigns for them if that's what you're after. Awesome. The other thing I would say here is that there are when we talk to clubs, and we've got about 200 clubs using this integration right now. And what we're finding is when they sign up with Patch, they might be using an email marketing solution, let's say like a MailChimp or something like that, that they're paying a couple $100 a month for. They might be using a one-to-one texting solution that they're paying a couple $100 a month, maybe $300 a month for. And then they're probably not doing text blasts or automations. So kind of the four pillars of what we do, right? Email, one-to-one texting, text blasts, and automations. They're probably paying for two of those four and not doing the other two. So when we come in and we say, hey, you can do all four of those things in the same tool, and we are deeply integrated with the system that you use for everything, which is CourtReserve, it becomes a no-brainer for a lot of these clubs. So awesome, great questions, everybody, and thanks for your time and for jumping on today. We know you're busy, so we value your time. We want to get you back to your day. And Tim, thank you again for jumping on and for saying those kind words. Everybody, if you have questions, you can email me directly at McKay@Patch Retention or Tim at Court Reserve. We'd love to talk to you. And we're grateful for all you guys do for the sport and for the industry, and we're excited to keep working with you. So, Tim, any final thoughts before we close up here?
No, I think this was fantastic. Again, I just want to mention the fact that if you have not explored this integration, I highly encourage you to do. It's just interesting to see how clubs are embracing it, how we get clubs every day asking about it, jumping on it, and immediately seeing ROI. And so, yeah, again, this is probably going to end up being one of our most popular and most powerful integrations. And so I'm so glad I found the team at Patch and McKay, and we got this working, and the best is yet to come.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great day.